And I'll kind of
It's just counting down.
oh,
You what, darling?
I'm gonna say I'll kind of say a bit about taking in the info.
Hey, we're live now. This is where I have to let's have a look. It'll come in a minute. We're on.
Wow.
We are live, and it's not. It just appears to be stuck on here. So if anyone's there, that's interesting. Can you let me know if you can hear me, because it doesn't seem to be.
I'm just gonna see if I can see it on my page.
Yeah, see if you can see it.
I'll kind of say it.
Okay, I've got it. Yeah, I've done what we need to do. So hi guys, we're doing this live on Facebook. I invited Coco to come, and it's doing an auto thing as well. I invited Coco to come on, one of my favorite women in the whole world, to come on and talk about the course that she is starting tomorrow, which we can talk about. And thanks for joining us. And I really love this topic because feminine embodiment, just embodiment, the feminine, all of that stuff is just, I get so alive when I just hear those words. And one of the reasons I love you so much, Coco, is because you say it as it is. You are absolutely anchored in your truth, in your full alignment. You're not like me, that I'm always offering courses and doing this and doing that. You have really spent the time, for as long as I've known you, really pulling in more and more and more and more. And I've said to you for the last 12 months or so, when are you going to do a course? When are you going to offer something?
Not until I'm ready.
Not until I'm ready.
Not until my body is, till I'm in my body, basically, which is what all this is about, because I will never teach anything I haven't embodied myself. That isn't in my cells on a cellular way. Because this is what feminine embodiment is all about. For years, I spent so much in the spiritual world disembodied, because I went out looking for something there, for ascension, for elevation. And what I've realized is that it's only half the story. The other half is feminine embodiment. That's masculine spirituality, as I look at it, where we're sat and like looking out to something. Feminine embody is all about coming back into the body. And the reason why I am so focused on that as a way and a practice to live is because we've been so out of balance for so many years as a planet, because it's been masculine heavy. And so for me, until we reach that level of like equal status balance, I will always focus on the feminine, because it's so needed. There's so many traumatized people, disembodied people, associated people walking around. I was one of them. And like you said, I've worked and worked at distilling this truth and this wisdom down into my body now, to a point where I can offer it as a service to people and humans.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. Before we came on tonight, we had a little discussion about the title.
Discussion on no. I will say feminine embodiment. But
no, it's really interesting about audiences, isn't it? Because I mean, I sort of intrigue myself how, like, different communities, I sort of tend to fit myself in, you know, into different communities. I suppose I'm quite good at that. I'm sure you'll tell me something different, but I tend to not bring all of that stuff, you know, all of the sort of tantra stuff and the real feminine embodiment, you know, pussy, orgasmic like stuff. I find that a lot of my audience can be slightly like, oh, you know, and it is an area that I really long for us to bring into the mainstream. That's really my passion, I think.
Okay.
You know? I really I have my own practice, and I have my own sense of what tantra is. For me, it's a complete everything. It's everything. It's not just about sex. And yet I find that when I speak to people wherever I am, whether it's I'm in a stand in the park, or wherever I am, and I talk to different groups of people, I still am very aware of the shame around that frequency. And it's not something that I teach in a pure form. I'll teach the breath work, the movement, I'll talk about it. But I wanted you to come on and talk about this course that you're doing, because I know that it's like a real like basic sort of introduction to to being in the body, because ultimately this is what this work is all about, is being in the body, like you said, not sitting in the masculine, just sitting there and all this spirituality floating up there. We want to come down.
We want to, it's not we want to, we have to. As a humanity, we have to get in the body. Like you said, there's so much shame around our bodies, in particular our sexuality and our bodies. And when we think about it, we need to get over it because we were birthed through sex.
Exactly.
We all came through a woman's vagina unless there was a medical intervention. And so it's like when you really sit with that, what I've just said, there's something that can be felt as a split in the psyche, because basically what we're doing is cutting half of our body off, because we won't allow ourselves to feel the primal basics of life, which is sexual creative energy. And so I just want to say to your audience, because I know your audience is very different in absorbing this energy and information, just rather than focus on the words, which is what I've said, we all have been taught to be in our minds. Just for a minute, just come into the body, just bring, as if you were bringing your energy down, all the way down into the body, and just let the words penetrate you and be taken in, drink the words in, rather than try and analyze the words. And it's so apt, because we were going to do this talk earlier, and I had lots of inquiries to deal with for the course that's coming up, and so I was in lots of things, because I was going to have a bath and have a nap and just take care, and because self-care is really important to me. And so I never had chance, and as you know, I do a pussy stroking practice, and thought I'm not coming on live until I've done that and I've got into my body. And when I talk about pussy stroking practice, it's not for pleasure. It is for the expansion of my own energy and feeling the fullness of my own creation, and learning the capacity to hold sensation and hold just more information, more of life, more energy. And ironically, the session that I picked, because I work with a teacher called Perry Chase, and she has lots of different sessions. This was on nourishment, and it was so perfect because I got a chance to come straight into my body, because it was all about how are we receiving life? How are we taking it in? So it was like this thing of breathing in through the base of the body, in through the pussy, and really drinking it in. And then we switching the energy into being penetrated by life. And it's such a different feeling.
Yeah.
Because we often want to buffer ourselves against life and not feel, especially women that are sensitive. And so getting in the body is essential, because then we can take in life and we can learn to hold more, and we don't then constantly be in this state of fight and flight or numbness, or having to just check out because we're overwhelmed, or we're spilling our energy over, or we get blown out. And one of the things Perry said at the end is, it was so funny, because I thought, I'll wait a moment, because I filled myself up with so much energy and sensation of myself. And it was like, now, are you going to sit and digest that, or are you going to vomit it out somewhere?
I love
Oh, I have to go do all this bloody life. Give all this juicy energy, but I just thought it really just brings home for me that why it's essential for deep embodiment work. We cannot do it without relating to our pussies as women. It's impossible
it is,
to feel
yeah.
the body
Yeah.
unless we connect that. Because basically, like I said, you're cutting off half of your body, half of who you are. It's
so interesting, Coco, because look, I belong to a lot of different tantra teachers and various groups, and I follow the, you know, I even like a few years ago I was training as a twin flame coach until I found out that they were complete like really weirdos, and they're being taken to court for running a what do you call it, not a sect, what do you call it, like running a, you know, like these people thought they were gurus, a cult, basically. Yeah, and I've had someone approach me from a TV show. They're making a video on these people, but like, there's been
that's another story that we can talk
about. The whole spiritual aspect of the divine masculine and feminine, and what we've been fed over so many decades now, and in particular, I'd say the last 2 or 3 years, there's been such an influx of relationship groups and everything else. But ultimately, this path of, you know, the feminine, the goddess, the divine, all of these words have been very misunderstood by so many people. And whenever I've done workshops or been to workshops, and I remember even Shakti Sundari, you know, like the general population are still very, of women, I'm going to speak out women, I don't know about men, and maybe not in your communities, but what I've seen is so many, it's still such a taboo subject.
Exactly. One thing I just want to point out, I don't ascribe to Tantra. I don't ascribe to the duality world of relationships. Yeah. I don't ascribe to like sex codes, where I don't ascribe to anything like that. What I ascribe to is embodiment and truth. And the truth of the matter is that we have to live in the body. It's just how it is. And my truth comes through feminine wisdom. That's my portal to the whole of this. And I have been on that journey where I've gone through all those like teachers and learnings around Tantra and things.
I know you have. And that's why you...
And I still call myself a Tantric devotee, not Tantra per se, because in the world of Tantra, it's suddenly become... I know how to have multiple.
I don't even like the word.
I'll tell you one thing for now. Feminine embodiment is not about pleasure. It's about reality and truth. It's about being with what is in the moment, high sensation. And this is one of the reasons why.
God, that, you see, that turns me on. Just those words you're saying just turn me on.
Exactly, because it's truth. Because it's truth. And one of the things you find, which is why I've created Flesh and Bones, there's nothing sexual in it whatsoever. Although one of the practices is there is a journey around going into the sacred chambers of the womb, and they're like the hara for men, and I have geared it to men and women, because it's when I speak about the feminine, it isn't a thing about gender. It's about a specific energy that's been missing on the planet. It's about nurturance. It's about the mother of creation. We've been focused on the father, the sky daddy, you know, come and save me. The mother is about learning to nurture yourself, learning to love yourself, learning to take care of your own needs, learning to mother yourself. This is feminine. To nurture yourself, to love yourself.
Sorry, just turn that off. Sorry. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, exactly. There's an echo because it's like it's fucking true. Let's say it again.
Exactly. Say it again, man.
Like saying again in the room, because it's about self-responsibility.
Yeah.
It's about taking care of the self. It's about mothering your own inner children. It's about mothering your energy. It's about being a steward of yourself. Whereas the other reality is all about how can I get off? How can I get high? How can I get more pleasure? How can I get more sensation? And the wonder why everybody's disembodied and wired. And dare I say, I'm going to say, fucking around with everybody's energy because they're out of their own field of energy.
Yeah. And
so
I've got to tell you, like,
go into dominance and control, and you know that's what's going on in the duality world of relationships.
Totally, it's horrendous. It's horrendous. And you were the one. You obviously are in a lot of communities. You've done so much study around this. That's why, like, that's why I come to you to get this from, because I love the fact that you have tried so many of the different communities, and you've actually seen firsthand what they're all teaching, and you have pulled in your own wisdom through going through such a long journey with this. And I really do respect that in you. This is where I come to know about this and to practice these practices, because I personally find it, unless somebody's coming to me for a course, I find it's like, I teach Pilates and heart circles and coaching and all the things that I do, but I don't have I started teaching something a little bit around movement and breath and pelvic movement and stuff, and this was years and years ago, and I mentioned the inner child I got, and suddenly this group of people locally to me that were in person, I could see their nervous systems just were nowhere ready for that, and so we just gently moved back into something else. It's like, so this course you're doing, is it going to be geared for somebody who's like really just interested in coming into the body? Is it going to be sort of...
That's exactly what it is, because what I learned, because I'll tell you now, a lot of people don't want to do feminine embodiment work because it's a slow, fucking arduous journey to get back in the body. I am not saying it's easy, because when we've been so numb, to go back into the body means you're going to feel every single place where you've abandoned yourself, every single place where you've escaped, every single place where you've numbed, every single place where you're conditioned out of your own truth. And it's painful as fuck to do it. It's taken me 2.5 years to grasp getting into the body and not escaping, because I was trained in the, so I would say, masculine spiritual world to bypass sensation, my story, everything around feeling. It's an illusion, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. It's something to to move away from the dark, to move away from the shadow. It's like, we don't talk about the shadow, we don't talk, it's all love and light bullshit, basically. And so having to unwind all that from my body has been a journey, and to the point where this thing that I've created, I've realized that it's too big for the container that I've created. Because it's so juiced, there's so much in there, and like people who started it in the beginning of December are still like working through the thing. Hence why I'm running it again, because I want to close it at the end of January and create it into a bigger, like 6-month container, so that people can really feel. But yeah, it's for beginners, because what I found is that it's all right wanting these grandiose feelings and, wanting to be, I don't know, fully embodied, but we have to first recognize what it is we're actually feeling in the body. So Flesh and Bones is a 15-day journey, and each day there's a meditation or movement practice that lasts between 30 minutes and an hour. And they're split into like 3 5-day blocks. I think I did it that way, or it might be slightly different. And each little chunk, so there's a chunk where we going into the 5 major organs and the major workings of the body, so that we can feel the subtle messages. And then we look at cell development in the body, process before birth in the body, because I had a lot of birth trauma. And so there's a journey around going back before we were birthed and rebuilding yourself back so that you can rewrite the patterns that are in your body. and that's could take a whole week and a month, and it's like I've done that like for a day, so you can see
it's
just
massive.
how powerful it is. And then there's journeys around meeting the divine God in yourself. Then there's one around gender development and really getting into feeling yourself as a man or a woman in your body, because again, we get programmed so much in this world of what a woman should be and what it's like to be a man, and it's like it's so false. And so going into these journeys, it's like a deep remembrance of who you are, the truth of who you are. And you can take in as much as you want or as little as you want, because each one is an energetic transmission. It's not just the words, which is why I'm saying to your audience, some of the participants that are in the container who have been in the container, just listen to them as a meditation and take them in small bites and in small chunks.
Sorry.
Because it's like I said at the beginning, this practice that I did this night, it's about being able to suck in the nourishment from the energetic nourishment from the thing, rather than take it in as a mental process. Because we're not meant to live in the head, we're meant to live in the body. So it doesn't matter. I could just be saying blah, 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 she, you know? The words aren't necessarily important. They are important on one level, because what happens with embodiment, why we escape the body, is because the mind wants to know.
Yeah.
It wants to know, it needs to know, why are we doing it? What's the reason? Blah, blah, blah. So the words give the mind something to think about while your body's actually taking in the transmission of the journeys. And so it can be for anybody. And I will say that it has blown my mind what's happened in that container with some of the people who have had long-term like issues around things such as skin or just ailments in the body or things, and have been able to like rewrite that whole journey from childhood.
Wow.
Of carrying those imprints and have a whole new different relationship with the body, including myself. I'm taking myself through my own medicine this time. So from Sunday the 8th, when we start, which is tomorrow, to the 22nd, which is the closing ceremony, I will be doing those recorded journeys that I recorded myself for myself, because I realised the potency of what they are.
Okay.
Anyone who's
I'm looking forward to starting tomorrow.
Yeah, and so I'll be doing a live as well every day about my own process, and people can join in that and share. So in the container, there will be 3 live calls. The first one's tomorrow, which is the opening call. Then we have an intermediate one on the 15th, and then the last one is on the 22nd. And the container will be open until the 31st, so that if you do like miss a day of doing your practice, then you've got until another additional 7 days to finish. And like I said, I will be closing it then, because I want to rejig it and repackage it as a bigger thing.
Who's listening? Is anyone there? Give us a like if you're enjoying this, because I'm fascinated with this. I'm going to give this a love, because I'm loving this conversation.
Something I was going to say then about the thing. Yeah, just the fact that it is a daily practice. And one of the reasons why I initially did it as a daily practice is because the body kind of needs that sense of like repetition to kind of begin to get the information in. But also for myself, I did it for myself, because as much as I do my embodiment practices, my pussy stroking, I sometimes miss days, and I wanted to do something where I had to commit to myself to get up every single day,
right? Okay,
and do a practice. And so I will say it is a commitment to yourself, but it is your own solo journey. You can take, like I said, do as much or as little as you want. Well, kind of as what you want, but it's like, I will say, because it is going into the body. And if you haven't been a person that's lived in the body, if you've been a person that has been mind focused or has just numbed out, and we don't always know we're numb because we get taught to listen to the gross kind of like sensations of the body when the body's tired, or when the muscles ache, or when we've got a headache. But those subtle sensations that go on inside, those subtle messages that the body's telling us all the time, because the body speaks to us all the time. If we have a dis-ease in the body, I can guarantee from my own experience, the body's been saying something over and over and over.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%.
Years sometimes without us listening, because we tune out.
Yeah.
And so going, like I said at the beginning, going into the body isn't always a pleasurable experience. And so you could do one of the journeys over and over and over again if you wanted.
But you know, I do feel Coco, like we're talking about inner work, do your inner work. To me personally, this work is absolutely essential.
It's essential, and it's being missed.
You know, I mean, this morning I taught my first Pilates and yoga class in a month. I haven't taught for months after the flood. I can't believe it's 4 weeks since the flood. And whereas I've been to the gym a few times, they had a reformer there and it's noisy, and I wasn't in my body. I was exercising, not in my body. I was going to the sauna, and then there were people in the sauna with their phones. Can you believe it? Today, because when I teach, it's just a transmission. It just all comes through. And I actually was so present, because when I'm in a course or teaching myself, it actually is a time for me to have come into absolute full presence. And it was like eating the most delicious mango. It was exquisite what we did. Yeah. And it was just the breath and again, it's about coming into presence, isn't it? Because I teach this stuff, Coco, and yet, you know, I'm coming to you for this because I actually want to give myself the gift of coming back home. But it doesn't matter if somebody is, you know, experienced in being in the body or has never felt, they don't even know what it means to be in the body. I'm really loving that you're offering this, and you know, if anyone's interested, then get in touch with Coco, because I just think it's essential.
And you've hit the nail on the head. The way we've been taught to be in the body is like these gross movements, you know.
Yeah, completely.
Just the outer surface of the body, like the muscles, like you know, the hardened thing. You can always tell when someone's like hard, muscular, hard. That done that thing which is to stop life penetrating them. And people may look at me as a bigger bodied woman, softer, and think that I'm in my body, but trust me, I'm in my body, because I know every single message my body's told me, and it's been a really long journey. I've had so many dis-eases. I suffered from chronic fatigue for 15 years. I had diabetes, I had breast lumps, I had endometriosis, fibroids. Every time I ignored my body, I had a massive thing. And every time it was like life and death situation. I had to go in, listen to my body, listen to what it was telling me, and then occur it. But as a human, I did the thing of, oh, it's gone now, let's just carry on. And then something else had come, and I realized that I have such a system that it's like, I can't deviate. I can't live as everybody else lives. I can't do it. But I've also realized that there's so many women that have that refined body system that can't do it. But because we've been taught that embodiment's a different thing, where we've got to like, and I'm not saying that's not a good thing, but there is a subtle way of, that for a woman's system in particular, that I've realised that because our seat of the power is our womb, is our pussies basically, and our breasts, like power portals. If we don't engage with those, we become stagnant. Yeah. And our energy goes haywire. And then it all goes up in the head. And then we think we're crazy and we're off balance and we can't function in the world. And I just wrote a thing actually about ADHD because it is the feminine system, but that's a story for another time.
That's another story.
Our body our energy gets all off kilter. And so this is one of the reasons why I want to share.
I'm just thinking of a lot of people would not even necessarily be so up in their head all the time, but they are just automatically turning away from doing their inner work. So this is for people that want to do their inner work.
No, exactly, that want to do it in a way that's not like looking at beliefs and patterns in that way, but
no, this is embodied.
Yeah, feeling patterns through the body.
Yeah.
It's
this, this whole thing. When I started teaching mind body exercise 35 years ago, no one had ever heard of it. And it went from, mind, body, spirit. Sorry, they cut out the spirit. They took it to mind, body. But, in truth, we are so disconnected from ourselves and our bodies that if people are not ready to do this work, then they're never going to have that fullness, that richness of knowing what it means to be the divine feminine, the divine masculine. You've got, it's like,
it's essential, because I'll tell you a thing. When
I said that, Coco, can I just tell you, when I was talking about that, my womb was just listening. She was listening.
Exactly, because she knows. It's like, yes, please tell women to come into the body. We can't be ashamed of our own sexual organs, for fuck's sake. It's like, it's the biggest part of our body.
Yeah.
And the really weird thing is, and like I said, for people that want to come in, there is no like deep pussy work in this. This is just an introduction to getting into the body, but there will be some things coming later on that. But I've forgotten what I was going to say then.
Well, we were talking about it for beginners, but there will be something later.
No, but your womb will pulsate when it hears. It is a portal. But my journey with my body is just so weird, because I used to be an athlete. I used to run for my hometown.
Wow. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm loving it. Thank you.
And then in my 20s, I was a boxer.
Really? I think you told me that before.
Exactly, and a bodybuilder. This is the thing, but I can tell you now, I was so far away from my body. I used to train like 7 days a week. I'm 7.
We had chronic fatigue and PSP.
7 days, like 6 to 7 hours a day. I'd like run 4 miles, go to the gym for 3 hours, run 3 miles back, pick the kids up, blah blah blah. Obsessed, just like watching every fucking calorie. I'm a maniac, but I can tell you now, I had no understanding of my body at all. And like you said, when
you had no what? Understanding of your
understanding of my body. I thought I was in my body because I was super fit and super strong, but I wasn't listening, because then, after having the kids and that, it just crashed.
It's traumatic having kids, isn't it? I mean,
no.
Okay,
because I wasn't listening to the body. I was. It came from an outside reflection of it needs to look good.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. And I was going to say, you and I have both been on this journey, but I think our journey is probably just about 99.9% of most women's journey.
Yeah, exactly. Which is
been there. We've all starved ourselves in order to wear a dress. I was the same. I was teaching so many aerobics classes every single day.
Oh my God.
And then all the aerobics teachers were eating shit. We were eating chocolate to get some more energy to teach the next class,
Mad. Yeah. I'd go to gym and do a circuit training, do a swing, go to aerobics, do some weightlifting. A machine. But the thing was, I was praised for it. Oh, look at her, she's amazing. Look how much she can do. And it's it's a strange world.
Yeah.
It's a strange world. But yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, yeah, again, it's is anyone who's listening, has anyone good evening, Kathy, good evening, Jasmine, Adrian. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if anyone on my wall has done anything like this before. If you've done a heart circle, we've done the very basic beginnings of it, you know, connecting to the body and how we're feeling and noticing it, but really, you know, being able to feel already, to be able to take the time to go inside and see what's happening and connect with yourself and how you're feeling, you know, is just absolutely vital. Just
Absolutely vital.
and
I know that.
like, you have to have the experience of it. You can't just talk about it.
Yeah, because one of the journeys as well is about going into the fluids of the body, which I love because I can feel the different fluids in my body now, my blood, my lymph, my cervical fluid, just by tuning into the body and knowing if it's flowing. I know now.
That is so exciting for me. Like I'm literally
at the moment, I know my lymph is like it's on a slow train to hell. I need to do some. As you know, like trying
you know what you need. You saw my video with Catherine, didn't you? Do it with the with the leeches. Putting the leech in the base of the spine, that gets the lymph moving.
And I thought, no, I'll do it the tradition. I'm not having any leeches on my body. But it was like, just that thing of, it's like my body's telling me, get it moving, move it, or else it's going to turn into something else now at the moment. And it's like, I love the fact that I'm just going to go back in now because I feel like I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
I just love the fact now that I'm in relationship with my body and she loves me and I love her, because for so long I hated myself, you know, because I had no relationship. I was programmed by outside beliefs about how I needed to be as a woman, and like you said, shamed around my sexuality, just being a sexual woman, and not in the way that you think about sexual, but I have a lot of creative energy, and so I had nowhere to put it, and it caused a lot of disease in my womb, because it was like, oh, you can't be big, you can't be seen, you know, you've got to be quiet, you've got to be submissive as a woman, and all that creative energy went away, because the minute you start talking about having any kind of like sexual desire, it's like, oh, Scarlet Woman over there. And so we turn against ourselves, and so it's been really, to say that my body trusts me now to listen to her, and I won't abandon her again ever, because it's a relationship. And the reason why I say it as a her and a thing rather than myself is because I'm still building that trust between myself as all the programs and myself, my body as an entity and a vessel that carries my soul essence. So I still look at it as a separate thing at the moment. It's still a journey for me. I'm still learning myself to ground fully in my body and to totally love every single inch of it, and to understand that, I know it's a cliche thing in the spiritual world that the body is a temple, but it really is a temple. It was birthed through a temple, through a sacred chamber. Oh God, that's my daughter. Just one sec, I'll just forgot I had WhatsApp. Yeah, we could do.
While you were saying that, you know what? Again, when you were saying that and you said I hated my body, that touched me, and I went into very deep sadness. That if I was in a session and was able to really go into that sadness and feel that sadness, that feels a part of me that, oh my God, because I hated my body.
And like you said,
I was smoking, you know, like all that, my lungs, like, oh God, the outside was all fit and teaching, and
that's what I'm saying. It's a universal journey we all go through, because we're birthed into a paradigm and reality that doesn't teach women anything about the body. any, not a sausage.
No.
It's all male oriented. Even our pleasure is like deemed to come through a mouth. It's like, hello, no. It's like we generate our own pleasure, you know, but it's like that thing of why it's like now it's like I get the difference between receiving pleasure and pleasure being regenerated through my own body. And so it is a relationship. And I think it's just essential that for women in particular, they learn and understand about the body in a new way that isn't.
I really totally that's why I wanted just to come on and talk about this, because you know, any woman who, well, that. Do you know what, Coco?
And I'm talking about women.
Right now, I'm just blown away. I'm a little bit blown away. Sorry?
And I know we're talking about women, and I can only talk about women because it's my experience, but the course is open to men and women. And I know we're talking a lot about pussies and whatever else, but there isn't, it's not that focus in there. It is just about a practical way, an embodied way, an energetic way of feeling the body, but feeling all the different nuances of the body, because that is the baseline. Because for years, like I said, I was in the Tantra world and I wanted to know the bigger thing. I wanted to know I can have multiple orgasms and things, but it was like I realized even that wasn't out.
You can or you can't have multiple orgasms.
I can.
Okay.
But then I realized again, I was chasing pleasure. And that's what happens in the Tantra world. I was still out of my body because I was chasing this weird, like, elevated, nirvana. You know? And it's like, oh, I'm still out of my body. And so, and like you said, in the polarity world, there's still that thing of an imbalance. It's like, then suddenly, because you're out of the body, which is feminine, the feminine world, it becomes distorted in there. So then it becomes masculine dominant again. And it's like submission and, you know, dominance. And like, again, I just thought, oh, wow, even this is off kilter. What is it that I'm missing? And it wasn't until I met my current teacher, Perry.
You're doing a really good job, Perry.
That I understood there can be no real power without me touching, feeling, and feeling sensation in my body. There can be nothing, because it's like you need to hold power. If you think of power being held within yourself, to hold it, you have to know what's going on in your body. You have to feel what's going on in your body. And I didn't want to feel because I hadn't dealt with trauma, because I was escaping trauma. I was off, you know, looking for pleasure. I was off looking for pleasure. And that's not to say that there isn't pleasure when we're in the body, because there is. It's quite exquisite when you can be in the world but not of the world, when you can allow life just to move through you without having to like block it off and escape. Because one of the biggest things that I've learned through my own practice of pussy stroking and my own practice of being in the body is that I can create a buffer between me and the world, so I can be as big and expanded as I desire or not. Because I can feel now, being an empathic woman, what's mine and what's somebody else's. Before, it was just all a jumble, because we're highly sensitive. And so I'd go out into the world and then I'd be exhausted, then I'd have to hide away, then I'd have to cleanse myself and go back into my little world. Then I'd think, oh my God, I need to be in the world. And it was just this weird cycle of like boom and bust.
Right.
Whereas now it's a constant, it's like building like a humming engine that's constantly going, because you know all the working parts of your body. And I guess this is what Flesh and Bones is about. It's a starter to understand all the working parts of the engine, of the vehicle.
Wow.
Of the car. If you think
fascinating.
It's to get to know all those working parts of you that we don't get taught.
Wow. So yeah, if anyone's interested, just get in touch.
I'll put the link in your
Yeah, put the link in the comments. I'm really, do you know what?
Tag me and it'll be on my timeline as well.
I think I took too much CBD oil about an hour ago. Wink, wink.
I was gonna say,
I suddenly feel like, oh, I feel a bit floaty. Sorry.
But it's the energy as well. It's the energy, and this is what I'll say about energy, because when you come into my field,
remembering we're actually doing a live, aren't we?
Yeah, when you come into my field, you are attuning to a certain vibration and as much as and frequency. And so I think the first time you were like, oh, what's this energy? Because you're making me, because it is quite expansive. It's like I can't even think now. But it is like it's just, let's just say you'll start feeling good. Yeah, it's quite a juicy energy at times.
Yeah,
because I plug into source, and I don't know if people, well, they can find me anywhere. There's a post on my thing about my word of the year, and it's taken me a long time to embody the code of mother as well. So it's quite a nurturing, soothing, soft kind of, dare I say, sexy energy at times, but it just feels really nourishing. Yeah.
Oh, your eyes are sparkling. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie, Coco. The last couple of years, well, you know, the last couple of years, especially the last year, especially the last 6 months.
Yeah.
My life has been so overtaken with selling the magic wand. I can see now how normal people, corporate people, I can see how their lives. And even here, this flat I'm in, I've got a TV and I've been watching a tiny bit because there's not much I could even bring myself to watch, but I've been watching a tiny bit of TV and thinking this is what normal people do. And I'm feeling quite removed from who I really am. And that's why I'm doing your course, because I am very, very sensual. I'm very in my body. I do it very easy. I've practiced for a long time. I'm going to an ecstatic dance in a few weeks, but I haven't been in that frequency for 6 months because I've, you know, and I'm so ready. You know, every time I think about this, and really just when we talked the other day, we had lunch last Saturday, didn't we? And you just said something, and I just so fitted into that frequency of the words and the expansion, because I talk about it all the time, but I have become contracted in the last 6 months. And that part of me probably is why I reached out to you again, because we hardly spoke while I was doing the magic wand for 6 months, full on my phone, selling. And I was
watching.
Oh, were you? Well, I love it. I'm still selling
when she's ready.
But no, exactly. But you know what? I do something and I get compulsive and obsessive, but it was busy. But the point is, I can see how people's lives just don't give them the thoughts. I think awareness is a lot here as well. You know, just the awareness that there are practices you can come and do. I think nowadays, where we're at, I think people are going to find a lot more of these kinds of practices of all types to support us going through these times.
And I will say 2 things on that. I cannot tell you how much joy it brought to me hearing that you did Pilates today. It was like, oh, there she is.
Oh,
that's what she's here to do.
Bless you.
And it was like, honestly, my little heart was like, oh, there she is. Because it's your lane.
Thank you. And do you know what? When Thank you. When I was teaching this morning, and I don't teach like anyone else. I teach in a very different way.
Yeah.
I just felt so deeply connected, and it was like a remembrance. This is where I belong.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it made me really happy. And two, like you, I'm not a conventional teacher. I don't teach you anything. I'm a transmitter of energy. And so when you come into the container, you might also think, well, she's not really teaching.
But that is
Really teaching me anything, but it will change your perception and it will change the energetics of your own body and being.
yeah.
But I take so the way I give the information and the way I give the journeys is I also talk about what I'm experiencing in my body as well as a reference point.
Okay.
So you will. It is
Hi, Suze. Hi,
it's
Suze.
a
Nice to
journey.
meet you.
Hello. And so I say those things as a reference of what I'm feeling in the body, so you can begin to trace them in your own body as well.
Yeah.
But it is your own journey. I can't tell you how to be in your own body. I can just guide you as to how I've been in my body. And so I'm a guide rather than a teacher. And so that's what you'll find in the group. And so there are people that have gone through it before. So there's 3 live classes this time round, and the other like 13 journeys are all recorded. So you can go through them at your own time. But like I said, I'm going through it myself. So I'll be doing them on a morning and then going in the group live to see if anybody wants to chat about their experience. And like I said, please know that I am there as a guide. You can ask me questions. You can come to me if something's big has come up, which is people did in the group. Because like I said, it is an energetic transmission and an activation, so it will shift things in the body as well. So yeah.
We should have tagged you to this. We should have tagged you to this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tag me if you can.
I should have done it. I should have done it when we first came on. Oh blimey, it's got the captions on it as well. Oh dearie me, it's showing the captions. Anyway, lovely. I'm actually really excited to do this. And you know the difference. I'll tell you the difference. I tell you. Well, no, I can't say that because I can't say that to you right now. I was just thinking the difference between a transmission. Then let's use the word transmission, and a teacher is, you know, when you're teaching, unless you're in habit and you're going over a program that you know so well off the top of your head, like you do, like, you know, if you're teaching aerobics, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, you're not even anywhere in your body, you know. And then you've got the ones that are going to explain how. There's a lot of things. I can't even remember what I was going to say now. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I can't remember what I was going to say now. I've got so much I want to say.
Are you vomiting? Are you vomiting?
What was the last thing you said?
I don't know, but I'm just going to say, let's just do what we say we're going to do, which is let's just get back in the body.
Let's get
just sit back for a minute.
Oh god, yes. But
bring all your energy to the back of the body and down. But I am also feeling that we're maybe at time as well.
I think we've been talking for about an hour. Oh, dear.
Kind of,
yeah. No, what I really wanted to say was you've
gone all blurry now.
Oh. Oh dearie me. Oh, I haven't I? That's really weird. No, I'm really looking forward to it, and it's definitely the right time for me to come back. As I was saying, life just really took over.
Yeah, I really want this journey to have a sense of community with it, because I am participating in it as well, and I am part of the process. It's something that's birthed out of me, rather than looking at me as, oh, the teacher, the guru kind of thing. It's like, yes, it has come out of me, and yes, I am running the show, but I want people to feel that they can come to me, you know, as a normal person going through a normal process, because I'm learning on the job It's the first time I've done this.
And
it's come from my heart, and it's come from my own experience and my own journey. So
that is
learning every single day.
That is so beautifully received.
Because
say that last sentence
because
again.
I'm learning myself what it is that it wants to be, because it's coming from me. It's not coming from but it's coming from my life journey.
Yeah.
And so it changes and shifts every time as I learn and grow myself.
Yeah.
And find out new information. And what was so beautiful this time round, last time, is that the people that joined are people that I've met over there. Well, one that I'd met like 10 years ago when I first started doing feminine work or tantra work, a very long time ago. And it's so nice to be in a container with her, because I do miss her. She moved to Peru. And then someone else was someone who, the people that came were the people that I met on Facebook and were people that I knew. So it was like journeying with friends. But what it did was it built such a deep level of trust that we could really talk about the deep things, and they could really bring those deep things to me, because my frequency is depth. That's what I'm about. And so
absolutely.
And so it just was lovely that there was this sense of trust and community in the space where we shared some really deep things together. And so I'm hoping for that this time round as well.
Yeah, well, this is right up my street. Right up my pussy.
Right up your street. Hey, Mrs.
Darling, we're going to go. Otherwise, we'll talk all night. Thank you for talking to me.
You're welcome. Thank you for
everything. And
what I'll do is I'll put the link under your thing, but if you tag me in it after you,
I'll just tell you now. Interestingly, I've noticed I'm on a 28-day lower down the news feed, and I've noticed that when I do lives or anything like this, I think that's when it kicks in.
Well,
yeah, but you know what, it doesn't matter.
But anyway, we can because what I'm going to do is, if you tag me in it, then it's on my timeline as well, and then I'll download it and I'll put it onto
oh gosh,
Instagram or something. What? What's going on?
I was a bit relaxed, you know. I was just Friday night, Saturday night, and all that. Okay, brilliant.
I'm like a Malmy velvet cushion. It's like bloody 10:30 at night.
I tell you what, I'm really rubbish at sitting still. I don't know why I'm always interviewing people, because I find it really difficult to sit still after about 20 minutes.
But again, that's the thing. The feminine is designed to move. We're not designed to be stiff.
No.
We're designed to be chaotic in our nature, which is why I wrote that fucking post today about ADHD. I'm fucking over it. I'm so over how we're like trying to contort ourselves into this erect, structural thing when we're not designed. The feminine mind isn't designed like that. Neither is the feminine body. And I don't mean female body. I just mean the feminine essence of the body. Whether you're in a male body or a female body, it's not designed to operate the way we've been told in humanity.
No.
I won't call it humanity in a minute. I feel like humanity in the world.
Well, we did have a quite a conversation about ADHD, which is a label that I do not have, but I realised a few weeks ago that I had never thought of it before, you see. But I love what you're saying about that. So you're going to do some talks, and I want to do a talk with you on that whole topic, that whole subject. I think you've got a lot to say about that as well. But anyway,
anywho, I feel like we're having one of our late night conversations.
We are, darling.
I know, but it's like you have just thought, we're like
I'm gonna don't put this on YouTube.
Remember where you are, Coco. Remember.
The funny thing is, when you do a live on Facebook like this, but when you're doing it through Zoom, it's I don't care. I tell you what. The more embodied we do get, and the more we do all the work that we need to do, the more we actually allow ourselves to be playful. And that's if people want to know about inner work and people want to know about being who you really are, if you are unable to be playful, if you're unable to giggle and laugh and cry and just be silly sometimes, then you haven't really done the work, actually. Because the more we are who we really are, the more relaxed we are about it, the more we can laugh and cry and sing and dance and whatever it wants to move through us, we can be an expression of that.
And I can guarantee one thing you'll get from me is all of me. I don't hide my emotions, whether I'm sad, angry, you know, elated, crying my eyes out, swearing my head off. You get it all.
Yeah.
That is the way.
That's why I really love you. You know, there's not many other. Well, I don't really know any other women that would just say that and own it the way you do. You know, you are a big inspiration to me, Coco.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Yeah, I really see you, and thanks for sharing that, because you know, the bottom line is there's a lot of people out there putting their work out, whether it's through music, poetry, coaching, you know, whatever we're giving out, when it's coming from the heart and when people have done the work and have got to that place where they can really transmute what's coming through rather than just teach, which is what I was actually trying to say half an hour ago when I forgot what I was saying. There is a real gift, you know, there's an art, there's a gift, but also when you can really tune in, when you can really tune into that frequency, then there is no, was it okay? It's like when people come up to me at the end of the class, when I used to teach in gyms and that, and say, that was a really great class, or you're a really good teacher. Like, my response, I didn't need to hear that, because I already knew that I was so tuned in that if you don't resonate with that frequency, then don't come back. But when you're so on purpose and doing what you're here to do and sharing it, and you've done the work and you're connected and you're there and you're in that place, then that is everything. That's what I want in a teacher. If I haven't got that, Coco, right, and that's why, like, I'm choosing to come to you to do this. So I really feel that part of you. I really see that part of you.
Yeah, because like you said, I think for the whole of 2022, you were going, when are you gonna bring something out? And I was going, when I'm ready, when I know, I'll know when I know, because it was like, I knew there was more I needed to drop into my body. I knew I was still out of my body, and if I'd taught from that place, I'd be just a talking head trying to teach something, whereas I'm teaching, like you said, from the depth of my spirit and from my
and that really
is a lived experience, because I've lived it.
Exactly wow.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, I love you. And nighty night, and I'll see you tomorrow for the first part of the course, 3 o'clock.
3:30.
3:30.
Yeah, well, have you signed up yet?
I've got to go online and do it.
Do you even know where we're meeting, woman?
I don't know where we're meeting. Zoom.
We're meeting on Zoom, but you want to be able to come into the group first. And like just orientate yourself, kind of.
I'll be there.
I'll just say to people, when you sign up, you'll get an invoice, and if you subscribe as well, you'll get a separate email. That you want to focus on the email that comes that's got the invoice in it, because it's got 2 downloads on it, which is, one is like an agreement about the group, and the other one is it's got all the information about joining and the Zoom calls on it, and it's got like a link to be able to get into the Facebook group on there.
Cool.
So yeah.
Cool. Brilliant. All right, darling. Sleep well. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you. And anyone who's enjoyed that or listened to any of that, hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
In fact, I'll message you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we're live.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's why I remember.
Mwah.